right, good morning again. So today, this is probably going to be part 5. It's Saturday morning. I'll show you what we're doing next. I got the engine all wrapped up in here. What I'm doing now is, first thing I'm going to do is clean up all this mess, and then I'm going to go on to the next step. We're going to be torquing some heads down. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So, let's get going, get something done today. So, I believe this is part number, probably number 6, whatever it is, it is. Long videos, a lot of work to put an order together, an engine together. So, last night I put the cylinder heads on. We just laid them in place. I made sure everything was clean, laid everything in place. I mixed up some, so I got some Molly lube, Molly paste. Put some Molly paste, like a little bit of Molly paste together, and oil. You know, mixed it up, made it like a, almost like a milkshake looking consistency of a milkshake. And then we put that on the stud and the washer and the, you know, the back of the nut, the bottom of the nut, and put them all on. Got all them on there. So next step would be, you're gonna torque the heads down. Finally clean this mess up a little bit over here so I can see what the heck I'm doing. So all I did was lay them on. I'm gonna just put them all down. Again, so just to reiterate, in case I missed that on the video, you definitely need to put the rockers on, not the rockers, the lifters in before you put the heads on. Okay, you gotta make sure the lifters are in. You gotta make sure the lifters are in the right place, facing the right way. The bars go to the inside, the little tie bars go to the inside. And then when we did this last time, okay, you got to make sure that everything clears. We actually I don't think I put the video together when I was doing that, but so you got to clearance everything for the block. So in this one corner here in the front, I had to clearance the block a little bit to make sure that that tie bar wouldn't hit anything. So you just got to go over a lot of stuff. There's a lot involved, obviously. So the head studs, you put them in and tighten them down. You don't torque those down. They just basically go in there. I mean, you got to remember, there's directions for everything. So you just got to look this stuff up and make sure you follow the directions to the manufacturer specs or whatever they want you to do. That's basically what I've always done. So the outside ones have little Allen keys on them, so you could just snug them down. The inside ones just snug down. Okay, so we're using the MLS gaskets. So we're able to get this hose on here. This is the line for the fuel, for the oil pressure. Jessel is the one that made this bar that goes across here. So it's Jessel rockers. I'm going to show you something with the push rods. So last thing I think on the other video was the push rods. So I'll tell you the story with that one while I'm doing this. So I checked the push rods. Push rods are good as far as length goes. So these push rods are bigger than stock, obviously, right? You want to go with the biggest push rod, heaviest duty push rod you could get, always, okay? The push rod has nothing to do with the, you know, you want to make sure your titanium, your springs, your valves, all that stuff is light so that it rotates and spins and everything goes faster, obviously, right? Less weight on the valve train. But as far as the push rod goes, lifter, you want as good a lifter as you can get. And a push rod, you want as strong a push rod as you could get. So these heads would probably accommodate a 7/16 push rod. Okay, but they don't make a push rod that short. So this is a 6/900 push rod. Nobody makes a push rod that short unless you're going to have one made. Okay, so the push rod we had in this past setup was, let me show you that. I'm going to go through this real quick with you. I'm going to show you this thing so before I torque this down. All right, so let's go through some push rod stuff. This is a push rod checker. This checks the length of the push rod. I'm going to show you something on here. All right, see that little line right there? So you put the push rod in, and then that line, this is how you check it. This thing gets longer and shorter, okay? There's two lengths. This one is, they're from Comp Cams, okay? If you need one of these. And then the other one is a little bit longer, okay? And then that one gets longer also. So this is about the shortest you're gonna find. Small block Fords have small push rods, short push rods anyway. That would be the stock diameter, a 5/16. Now, I think I already told you this, but they make a 5/16, a regular push rod, which would not hold up to this stuff. Stock motor, maybe, let's see, aftermarket small cam, no problem. If you start putting anything power to it, you want a better push rod. So then they make a push rod that's a thicker wall, 5/16 and a heavier wall. The wall is always on the inside, so you can always go so much. So thicker wall. Next step would be, after the heavier wall, chrome moly, heavy wall, and they hold up pretty good. This is what we got going right now. So you can see how much bigger that is. This is 5/16, this is 3/8. Then they make a 3/8 with different wall sizes. This is a 3/8, 6/9. See if you could see that. 6/9, 80 thousandths wall. All right. So now, I didn't buy push rods because you need everything together, torque down, put the rockers on it, and then you got to check your length again, which we did. The length is good. So now I made a decision to say, okay, now you got to think about, is this going to hold up to the next power level? Okay. Well, they told me the rods weren't going to hold up. Why would the push rods really hold up, right? And at this point in the game, am I going to put a push rod in it? And then in the back of my head, I'm always thinking I'm going to bend the push rod or something. Obviously, these are good. They didn't bend. But, so, I said, all right, well, let me see if I could get them. So these are Trend. These are from Trend, push rods. Okay. Great company. Had these things when I first did this. I don't know if I put this on video back then or not, but so I ordered the push rods. I checked them. I ordered the push rods. They sent the push rods. They were still a little bit off. I called them back. They're like, no problem. They sent me the new longer ones or shorter ones. I think they were a little bit shorter. Yeah, because these are 6/900. I think they sent me 6/950s or something. But they sent me the other ones. I sent these back. Everything happened within a day. Okay, no big deal. Like one day they had everything in stock. They had these on the shelf. They stock a lot of sizes, okay? So I get them all, put the thing together. So now I'm thinking, let me go up to the next thing. So I call them up. I'm like, listen, this is what I'm running now. What do you got? So I can't do a 7/16 because I'm not taking no chances on putting 7/16 in there. But then I'm going to tell you what another guy told me. So I said, okay, what do you have? They said, we got a 3/8, same, but a 135 wall. This is 80. I'm like, all right, great, that'll work. So she looks them up. She don't have them in stock. They only got 12. Well, can't use 12. I need more. She gives me a couple of 3 phone numbers, different places to check and see if they have any. Nobody's got them. Call her back. I'm like, nobody has them. She says, well, we can make them, but it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. I'm like, man, okay, now we're going back to waiting for parts, like we did with the connecting rods and the pistons and all the other crap. I'm like, you know what? I watch Steve Morris engines all the time, and they're always ranting and raving about Manton pistons. Manton pushrods. Manton. All right, so now think about this. It's 4:45 was the last phone call I made to. What's today? Wednesday, Thursday, no, Saturday. So Thursday night. So Thursday night, 5 o'clock, I get off the phone with Trend, because I'm like, let me try. It's like 10 minutes to 5. She said, check comp cams. I call comp cams up. I'm on the phone with comp cams waiting. You're number 10. You're number 9. I'm thinking, by the time it gets to 5 o'clock, I'm going to be number 1, and they're going to close. They get to number 1. The guy answers the phone. He says to me, he looks him up. He says, nope, don't have anything in stock that size. He knew it was for a small block Ford, but he's like, I don't have anything that's small, that size, and that wall thickness. So I said, okay. I already got the 80s, so I don't need 80s. He goes, how about you? Why don't you call Manton? Well, there's your confirmation to call Manton. So I call Manton up. Now, they're in California, so I got about an hour or so, I guess a couple hours, actually. So now it's like 6 o'clock, or just about 6 o'clock. I call Manton up. Manton, a guy named Matt, answers the phone. Cool guy. He's like, what do you need? I said, this is what I need. I said, I need to know if you have these in stock. He goes, we don't stock anything. I'm like, damn. He goes, we make everything to order. And he goes, now my lead time on making things to order is about 3 or 4 days. I'm like, 3 or 4 days is better than 2 to 3 weeks, right? I said, well, this is what I need. Can you, what do you got for me? So I go, what do you got? So he says, what do you need them for? I said, small block Ford. He goes, yep, small block Ford. He said, what size? I said, 6,900. I said, I got an 80 thousandths pushrod now. I said, I'd like to go up, to a bigger size, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. So this is what he told me. He says, take a pushrod. Take the pushrod you got. Wrap tape around it in the section where it's going to go through the head. Build it up to the 7/16. Actually, he was telling me build it up to the 3/8 and see if it's going to work. I said, well, I know 3/8 is going to work for sure. He goes, oh, he says, no problem. He says, 3/8. He goes, we make a 3/8 at 145 wall thickness with a tool steel tip at the rocker. He goes, you're not going to break those, or you're not going to bend those, and you're not going to wear them out. He goes, they're bulletproof. I'm like, great. So the tip was, put the tape around it and see if it's going to go to a 7/16, but I'm not even going to do that. So now I said to him, so how long do you think it's going to take? Because he doesn't have them, he's got to make them. He goes, we make everything. I said, all right. He goes, well, now remember, it's Thursday night. I'm talking to him. It's about 6 o'clock, 5:45, 6 o'clock. I mean, I could look on my phone, but it was about, because I got off the phone with comp cams and I was worried about them closing at 5. So it's somewhere after 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, the earliest. Okay. So he goes, well, it's going to be 3 or 4 days. He goes, it's Memorial Day weekend. Monday we're closed. So he goes, he said, well, I could probably get them out by the end of the week. I'm like, okay, so you think I'd have them by Friday? Because I'm thinking, if I don't get them by Friday, now you're talking Monday, next month. Oh my God, right? And I want to get this thing back together. So he says, let me see what I could do for you. He says, but I'll get to them as quick as I could. He says, and then takes all of my information down, takes the credit card number down, and he says, you'll know when they're shipping, because he goes, I don't charge a credit card till they're shipping. I'm like, all right, well, that's how I knew the guy was shipping the connecting rod, same thing, right? And I'm like, man, that was quick. So go back to the push rods. So Matt says, he goes, all right, sounds good, man. He says, I'll get to them as soon as I can. He says, thanks for the order. I says, oh yeah, by the way, I said, I'm doing a video on it, and I'll give you a shout out for the push rods. He's like, oh great, give me the channel, I'll check it out. So now, I'm thinking, all right, well, there ain't nothing to do, so I might as well go do my other stuff, whatever else I was doing, and then I'll finish the video for this later. So now it's Friday, about 5:30. Same thing, about 5:30 at night. This is last night. My phone rings, and I look at it, and it said Manton. And I'm like, Manton. I'm thinking, did I butt dial them or something? And I'm looking at it, it says no. I'm like, hello? Nobody answers. I'm like, okay. Maybe they need some more information or something. I better call them back just to check. So I call up, and I go, did somebody just try calling me? And I didn't say who I was. She says, yeah. So the girl says, I'll look her name up. Let me get her name. Hold on a second. All right, so I just checked my my email with her name because she told me her name, but I forgot. I'm bad with that. Unless I hear somebody's name like 15 times, I won't remember. But her name is Lindsay. So she says, yeah, this is Lindsay from Manton. She says, I called you. I said, okay, what's up? She goes, your push rods are ready. She goes, I ran your card and something didn't come up right. And it said something about fraudulent. And I'm like, now I'm thinking, what? So you know how you start thinking? There's so many scams stuff going on around that right now. I mean, all the time. And I'm like, something don't sound right. So I'm like, okay. I said, what's your name? She says, Lindsay. I said, okay. Now I'm thinking, why would my credit card come wrong? I said, okay, hold on a second. Let me call you back. So she hangs up. I'm thinking to myself, well, dude, I mean, you guys, I don't know what you guys, there is like the weirdest stuff going around. Like somebody will get your phone number, they'll call you up and they'll tell you, well, you get emails, your package was delivered, or your package is waiting to be delivered, or your order's ready, and you know, you got to call back with your credit card number. And I'm thinking, half this stuff you look at and you're like, I didn't order nothing, I ain't waiting for nothing, so it doesn't matter to me, whatever, right? So you know they're scams. So now this one hit me kind of funny. I'm like, the guy told me they weren't going to be ready till next week. I just ordered these literally last night, and now you're calling me telling me you want to charge my card because they're ready. I'm like, okay. Call back, and I'm like, yep. She answered. So now she answers the phone. No, I'm sorry. I had her on hold. I said, hold on. That's what I thought. I said, hold on a second. So I'm thinking to myself, let me check my credit card, make sure my credit card. So everything was still cool. I'm like, all right, let me see what she's talking about. I says, okay. I says, so what's going on? She says, your credit card, I tried running your credit card and your credit card don't work. Can you give me all the information again? I'm like, okay. I says, well, give me the information. You sure they're my push rods? I says, because they weren't supposed to be ready till next week. She says, yep, John Viola. I'm like, okay, give me the size. Right. I'm sorry, Lindsay. You're probably watching this, but with all this stuff going on, so she repeated everything back to me like everything was correct. I'm like, all right. I said, so read me the credit card. So she reads the credit card thing and the date was wrong. I'm like, all right, cool. So I said, that's the wrong thing. I says, well, here's all the information again. Just go through it again. I said, so they're ready? She's like, yep. I'm like, man, that's freaking great. So I actually updated the shipping to second day air, or next day air actually, because they're in California. So for another 30, 40 bucks, at this point, I need this thing back together. So, make a long story short, push rods are on their way. Today's Saturday, Monday's a holiday. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm sure I'm going to get them by Tuesday, 12 o'clock. So shout out to Matt and Lindsay at Manton Push Rods. Guys, if you need any push rods, and you'll see them when I get them. I know they're awesome push rods because I've seen them on the internet and stuff. They make great stuff. I just never dealt with them before. Again, Trend, same thing, man. Their customer service is awesome. But shout out to these guys. They got this thing done. They knocked this out. This is like, I wasn't expecting them till next Friday. It is what it is. I wasn't expecting them till next Friday. When they called back and he told me he said, let me see what I could do. In 24 hours, they're already shipped. I don't know if you found them someplace for me or whatever, but whatever you did, I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. So getting back to this, that was your push rod for the day story. I'm gonna get back on this. I'm gonna torque these down and then go on to the next step. All right, so you got your push rod story in there. Cylinder head torquing. Again, make sure small block forward, make sure the lifters are in the valley, okay? This is for my intake. Everything's still set up on number 1. I could drop the distributor in, I mark that where that all goes, and then that has to be phased in. But, so cylinder heads, these, they get torqued down to 110. They're done in 3 increments, so I'm gonna do 50, 45. So I'm gonna do 50 all the way around, and then 80, and then 110. So you start in the center, work your way out. I'm gonna probably, again, we're gonna snug them all down. I'm not even gonna do nothing crazy with them yet. So we're snugging everything down. Before, all I did was put them on hand tight, right? And then go through the whole thing. So I might not be able to go all the way to the 110 without this thing spinning around on me, so I might have to wait for the boys to come back to help me with that. But at least I'm gonna get this to the point where I can start doing that. And then I need push rods, so Tuesday, the rest of the video will be on Tuesday, but you'll see that, you won't know what day it is. Trying to show you guys the whole thing. All right, so let's go. All right, here we go, 50, starting in the middle, maybe over here. Okay, we're still going, snugging everything up. I'm gonna do 1. And then I'm just gonna put it on speed so that you can go, right? And then if I get to the 100, I'll show it to you. If I can't do it without it spinning around on me, then I gotta wait. So the head gaskets, they say front. On this side it ends up front on the top, on this side it says front, but it ends up on the bottom. And all that is basically for the water passages to be in the right spot, which, again, doesn't matter because we don't run water or cooling. There we go. Now we know that's going to click. So go back to here, right? Clicking it, clicking it, clicking it. And again, you don't want to just nice and smooth. Everything seats. Okay. There's your 50. If you don't put any lubricant under the head of the washer or the bolt, whatever, they drag and they gall up, and then you really don't get a nice smooth torque, which you don't want to do that. The MLS gaskets, basically it's all layers of steel, different type of steel that they use. And the nice part about that is they expand and contract with the heat. There's no retorquing those, so, and you can't reuse them. That's the only bad thing. The copper gaskets you could reuse, the thick copper. The other motor is going to have copper gaskets because it's that one has it's a top fuel hoop, you know, fire ring hoop with a receiver groove in it. That's what's getting done right now. That block, that's what's getting done to that block. So the heads had the ring in them already. MBE put the ring, the fire rings in the hoops in it. All right, that's 50. Now back that off, go back up. Now we're gonna go to chrome, and it shines right back. Now, let me just get this set up and then I'll come back to 80. Same thing, come over here, start in the center. That one, that's at 80. So I was saying so the rings, you use a copper gasket. The copper gasket could be reused. So this, no copper gasket. Because we don't run any water, I should have showed you that, but because you don't run any water, the sleeve sticks out of the bore. I think it's 2/1000ths or something. So between that and the rings on the, you know, the gasket, the way the gaskets are set up, these seal real good. Now if you're running water, you'd have to run a different type of gasket or mill that 2/1000ths off. Let me get these on here. I hope you guys are liking these videos. They're long, I know, but that's what it is. Okay, that's 80. I'm going to do 110. That's 100. So you got black with little lines, it's chrome with little lines in it that shines back at you, and black that's shining against the chrome that shines back at you. So it's really hard to see it. You know what I mean? So let me just go back out into the sunlight and see if I could get that set up. And then we'll do 110. 110. Let's see what we can do. Oh yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I watched some videos, these guys are torquing stuff down to like 200. I'm like, holy crap. Yeah, buddy boy. Here with that one. Man. And it's one. Alright. Try this side. Try to keep it in one swing, that's the whole thing. Good thing I'm doing this first thing in the morning, because you ain't doing this at night. Last one. Holy crap. All right, that was my workout for the morning. Heads are torqued. Always back off your torque wrench. And it's always a good idea to get these calibrated, okay? That's the end of that. I mean, you could put a lot of stuff together, but I'm not gonna, like I could have put the intake on and all that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wait till I get the push rods. This way I could see everything inside here. I'm gonna set the distributor in. That's about it. Can't put the Pro Charger or nothing on until the end, because in case I gotta turn the engine over, which I'm gonna turn the engine over. I'll show you how to install the push rods, how to install the rockers, and how to do the valve lash, the initial valve lash, which once that's done, it's done. So that's why I like doing it with the valley tray open, so I know there's no slack and nothing, and everything's sitting in the right spot. So, all right, waiting for Tuesday. I'll see you Tuesday morning.